that blaster's on full.
What's up guys, Gripe here with another review, and today we're going to check out the largest action figure I've ever reviewed. This is NECA's quarter scale penguin action figure from the Batman Returns. This is the Danny DeVito penguin, and we'll start off by checking out the packaging. You've got a nice big window up front there so you can see that giant penguin. You also have some good graphics on the box here. You've got a Gotham winter scene, and you have a painting of Danny DeVito's penguin on the bottom left there. To the right of that, you have the information about the action figure itself, Batman Returns Penguin Quarter Scale Action Figure. The cardboard is a slightly lower quality than I'm used to, but it's probably also due to the size of the box. It is a huge box. And on this side, you have a picture of the action figure in that winter Gotham scene in the background. And same thing on the back here, you also have a lot of information on the penguin character himself. You got a nice little bat signal in the clouds there on the top right. And you have some information on the accessories. And here we have the action figure without the top coat on. On top of the box, you've got the wraparound window, you've got the same information that's on the front of the box, and you've got a cool Oswald Means Order campaign button. On the bottom, you've got the Batman Returns logo, as well as the company and DC logos, and some legal information. Alright, so we'll crack this box open and see what's inside. Once you open the box, the figure comes out in an insert, and you have some additional graphics on the back of there. I don't know how well you can see it. You've also got all the accessories attached to the inside of the box. And on this side, you have a Cobblepot for Mayor campaign poster, which is perforated and comes right out so you can use it in a diorama if you want. And you've got the top coat in the back here. You've got the hands and other accessories attached to this side of the box. Alright, so now we will take everything out and take a closer look. And we'll start off by checking out the accessories. And this figure does come with a nice top hat. And it is a soft plastic. It's a little on the stiff side, but it is pliable. And it is textured throughout most of the hat, as you can see here. The ribbon is a glossy black, and that looks pretty nice. There's some nice details there, and the lining is a different color. And my only real gripe with the top hat is it's a little difficult to get on and stay on the penguin's head. This figure comes with an extra hand, and this is used for holding the other accessories like the fish or the cigarette, or just a different expression. And it is gorgeously sculpted and painted. You can see the great detail here. I like the palm is more of a pink than the gray on the back of the hand. You can see the veins and all the wrinkles here on the hand. All the wrinkles there on the inside of the palm and the creases. It just looks absolutely amazing. The nails look great. The whole hand is just really beautifully done. And one of the cooler accessories with this figure is this fish. I believe it's a salmon based on the color of the flesh, but you can see how gorgeous this thing is as well. Really great job on the sculpt and paint. Looks very lifelike. I love the colors they use. Looks just like a fish. The eyes look great. You can see the whole body is very well shaped. The color of the flesh, the pink they use looks really good. I'm assuming it's a salmon. And just another great accessory for this figure. And you also have this little cigarette and a cigarette holder. And there's not a whole lot to it. The sculpt and paint on it are pretty good. There's nothing really crazy, just white, silver, and black on there as far as paint. But it is a nice accessory for the penguin. And you also have the monocle. There's really not a whole lot to this. I do wish the plastic was a little bit more clear, but you do have a peg there, and that goes right into the penguin's eye to hold it in. My only gripe with this really is just the string. I think it's a little too light, and it does have a tendency to curl up. But other than that, it's a pretty cool accessory. Now check out the final accessory, the Soft Goods top coat, which is a really nice addition. It's got some faux fur here around the collar, which is actually really nice. It's got a lining in there. It's got a clasp here, so you can close it around the penguin. And it does have these long flaps for the arms, which I'm a little on the fence about. They kind of look a little weird. It's not too bad when it's actually on there, though. And it does have actual pockets, which is really nice. You can throw the additional accessories you're not using in there. And overall, it's a really nice coat. Very nicely done. I like the stitching on it. Everything is pretty high quality about it. Definitely one of the better soft goods I've seen. So now I'll check out the sculpt and paint on the figure itself, and we'll kind of do a quick overview of the entire figure, and then we will do some close-ups of the various areas so you can really get an idea of the level of detail in sculpt and paint. And it does have a soft plastic dicky and tie on this figure, which is nice. And overall, the paint and sculpt are amazing. Great detail. You can see all these nice wrinkles, and the shading on the pajamas here just looks really good. Everything looks nice and grungy, just like it should, like it's been worn for decades. There's also some nice texture sculpted into the pajama areas, which came out good, and especially the holes and rips. The head also looks really good. Great sculpt and paint on that. Great likeness to Danny DeVito. Love the mouth and eye areas especially. I also really like the sculpt they did on these boots. I think they came out great. I love the soft plastic laces they added. My only gripe is with the hair. I'm just not that big a fan of fabric hair, but that's just a personal preference. Nothing wrong with the figure itself. And we'll start off with a closer look at the head, which came out great. I love the paint job in the mouth and eyes especially. Sculpt around the eyes also looks really good. Tie and Dicky came out really good as well. And probably my favorite part of the whole figure is the hands here. The detail on these is just crazy. They're the most lifelike looking hands I've seen in a while. Love the veins on the back there, and the paint job is amazing on those. The rips and tears on the pajama also came out good. Those are all sculpted, not just painted, so you do have a bit of a three-dimensional feel to them, especially the knee there, which is nice. I love the boots as well. Soft plastic laces, and everything is just really nicely detailed. You have all these stitches. The laces came out great. There are no treads on the bottom, but they do have peg holes. And unfortunately, we will check out the penguin butt. It is horrendous, but it is a really nicely sculpted part of the figure, as horrible looking as it is. Overall, this figure has an excellent sculpt and paint, although there were some issues around the joints, especially the knees and elbows. The part that wasn't exposed had some slight discoloration when I did expose it, as you can see here. Other than that, everything was great. Now check out the articulation on the figure, and the joints on this figure, almost all of them are really stiff, so it's a little tough to get the full range of motion, I think. But as you can see, you can get a little bit of head movement up and down. That's about it. Same with the rotation. You can get it a little bit farther if you want to play with it. As you can see, you can kind of get them to look up more and rotate it around. Not a whole lot of head movement, but due to the character, it's really not that much of an issue. The shoulders are pretty good. You can get those out almost completely straight. You can rotate those around the socket all the way. This figure does have single jointed elbows. You can only bend them about, say, 75 degrees or so. That's about all you're going to get out of them. And again, with this being the penguin, you're really not expecting that much articulation anyway. You do have full rotation at the elbow. Has swivel and hinge wrists. You can rotate those completely around, and you do have a decent amount of hinge movement on those. They only do hinge up and down though. And this figure does have a surprisingly good diaphragm joint, although it is very stiff just like a lot of the other joints, and it's a bit unusual in the way it moves. It's almost like a giant ball and socket joint, but you can see you can get really good movement forward and back. You can also get some really good movement going side to side, and again, you just kind of have to work it the proper way so you can get it to move fairly easily. And it's a little unusual in that regard, but it does have some good movement. You can rotate it completely around. And again, it's really just a matter of getting used to how that joint works, and then you can get the full range of motion out of it. So now I'll check out the articulation and the hips and legs on the figure. And again, it's a penguin, so don't expect too much, but you can get the legs out about that far, get them in that far. You can get a kick forward of maybe about 15 degrees, and you can get maybe 5 degrees back, not a whole lot there. You can rotate at the top of the hip. You can get some decent rotation there. This figure does have single jointed knees, so you can only get about that far of a bend. Although you do have full rotation at the knee, and again, this is the penguin, so don't expect a whole lot of articulation on most of these joints. The ankles go down about that far, maybe 20 degrees or so. You can get another 15 degrees up. You can get full rotation on the ankles. Let me get out of the way here so you can see, and you can see you can get those all the way around. And you do have a pretty good ankle pivot on this. You're probably getting about 15 degrees in either direction, which is pretty nice. Now check out the size of the figure, and this is actually a pretty bad angle. The figure stands at 15 inches tall. I know it looks like it's 14 here, but I had to shoot him from a higher angle due to the size, but he does stand at 15 inches tall. So overall, I think this is an awesome figure with really nicely detailed sculpt and paint. The likeness looks a lot like Danny DeVito's penguin. Also has some really nice accessories, including that soft goods coat, the top hat, and I love that fish. The articulation is a little bit limited, but again, it's the penguin, so you're not really expecting any type of dynamic poses, but you can get some really lifelike poses with the articulation. And while I'm not a huge quarter scale guy, I do love the way this figure looks in my collection. I think you will too. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the review. Subscribe for more.
Set blast resort.